All right, we're doling out game balls for the Aztecs kickers and actually the whole of special teams. Gabe Placencia counts for the only Aztecs scoring. It's a throwback 6-3 Midwest football win on the road against Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, Illinois. Steve Perez, Louis Weiner here. Aztecs all in. And Louis, how about that follow-up to the Aztecs' high-scoring win over Cal last week?
Hey, Steve, yep, another great game from the defense. And as the old saying goes, you play to win the game, even when the offense looks like it's playing in mud most of the game, right?
We'll hear from both coaches after our respective half recaps. I will take the first half and you'll take the second. But if I'm San Diego State right now, I do my darndest not to schedule too many more road games against the MAC. This team played the Aztecs in their home stadium in front of a little more than 13,000. Aztecs needed every second of every minute of that game to pull it out. Placencia with a chip shot game winner notched the Aztecs only points in the first half. And besides that, the special teams, I believe, carried the day because in a low-scoring game like this, you're handling the ball a lot as a punter. Hunter Green handled that funny-shaped ball 6 times on 4th down, averaged 47 yards a kick. He boomed one for a long of 63. And for the most part, thanks to the coverage on special teams, had the home team starting in its own territory most of the day. He did have one odd bobble, but Placencia, again perfect, 2 for 2 in the game.
The numbers tell the story. The Aztecs with just 266 total yards, and that includes a minuscule 115 in the air. How can that be, you ask? Well, the average yards per pass was just 5.2 yards, and NIU was even worse. Jaden Dekalb had little time to throw most of the game, and when he tried to scamper, he got shut down, although he was sacked just once. He carried the ball 9 times for just 19 yards. His long carry was for 12. He also threw 2 interceptions. One should never have been thrown, and the other, he was doing it while he tried to make something happen, but it backfired. Aztecs threw just 14 passes and rushed 44 times for 151 yards, most of that on the back of Lucky Sutton, who really came to life in the second half when the offense needed him most. He finished with 17 carries for 88 yards. That's a healthy 5.2 yards a carry. Steve, the play calling was conservative, and in a tightly contested game on the road, that's understandable. However, at some point, Coach Lewis has to trust his quarterback to spread the field and push the ball down with the forward pass. Steve, the Aztecs were able to bleed the clock, and at the end, they won time of possession 31-18 to 28-42.
Louis, important to note that as tough a day the Aztecs had on offense, they were able to move the football at the end when it really mattered. Before that, though, credit the Huskies' defense, especially their front seven, with frustrating the bulk of the Aztecs' plays on offense, keeping them out of the end zone for the entire game. You don't limit a team to just 57 yards in the air and 266 total yards without playing well on your side of the ball. They forced the Aztecs' first turnover of the year when safety Jasper Beeler hauled in a deep toss by Dekalb. They have a beast at linebacker in Quinn Erweiler. He was in on 16 total tackles, 10 solo, 2 for losses. Another teammate on defense, Philip Maczurowski, had 13 total. And you can say it was key injury to Erweiler on that Aztecs drive at the end that played a key role. Lucky Sutton had finally busted through that side of the defense for that 7-yard gain, and then Erweiler had to leave the game. Aztecs came right back at that same spot on the defense. They just kept pounding until the final winning field goal, as you will detail in your second half recap. But the Huskies on defense held the Aztecs up to that point on 3rd down to 4 of 11 for the game. Again, Louis, if you squinted a little bit, those young men blasting into each other during that game, they might have been wearing helmets without the face masks and made out of leather. It was that kind of a game.
Steve, I'm not surprising anybody by saying this was a fantastic defensive effort. Just look at the final score. The Aztecs have not allowed a touchdown now for 2 straight games, and they harass Northern Illinois quarterback Josh Holst all game long. Here are the numbers. Aztecs held the Huskies to just 179 total yards and just 57 in the air. Holst completed just 7 of 16 passes, and the average yards per pass was a paltry 3.6 yards. Linebacker Owen Chambliss was all over the place. You'll hear Coach Lewis talk about him in a second, but he finished the game with 11 tackles, 7 solo, 1 for loss, and a sack, one of just 2 on the day for the Aztecs. The other came from Ryan Henderson. The Huskies ran the ball 41 times, but averaged just 3 yards a carry. The big boys up front really did their job. The longest run of the day was just 14 yards, and that came from NIU's quarterback. They held Siobhan Wright to just 27 yards on 10 carries, and Telly Johnson Jr. to just 53 yards on 16 carries. So, Steve, what the Aztecs proved tonight was something they were not able to do in Pullman, Washington. Defense travels, and if that continues, this Aztecs team could end up with a very special season.
All right, this 3 p.m. kickoff, 68 degrees, perfect weather for a college football game in the Midwest. Aztecs will win the toss, defer. NIU will take the ball at their 25 following Hunter Green's kickoff into the end zone for a touchback. Huskies QB Josh Holst sets the tone, rushes right for 4 yards, but SDSU's Chris Johnson there to meet him. Second down, Telly Johnson Jr. gets stuffed, 0 gain. 3rd and 6, Holst will fire a dart to D'Ari Rogers for 12 yards, first down at the NIU 41. Huskies seem to be rolling early, but wait, penalty flag, ineligible man downfield, wipes out a play, pushes them back to the 36. Running back Siobhan Wright pounds it for 3, then Holst scrambles for 9. 3rd and 3 at the 48, Wright muscles for 2, just shy of the first down. 4th and 1, and NIU will go for it. Wright barrels through for the first down at the SDSU 49. Clock at 11:36. Huskies will keep on trying to grind. Holst rushes for 3, throws a quick incompletion. 3rd and 7 at the SDSU 46. Holst takes off, 14-yard scamper to the 32. First down, NIU's in business. Wright will hammer for 3. Telly Johnson Jr. bursts right for 11, first down at the Aztec 18. Momentum with NIU. Telly will gain 3. Holst pass will throw incomplete, high. 3rd and 7 at the 15. Holst will rush for 2. 4th and 5 at the 13, and it's field goal time. Andrew Glass lines up the 31-yarder and is good. 7:10 left. Huskies will lead 3-0 after a 16-play, 62-yard marathon, eating 7:50 off the clock. The Huskies crowd likes, appreciates its hard-fought Midwest-style football. The Aztecs turn at their 25. QB Jaden Denigle's first pass broken up by NIU's Ty Miles. Second down, Denigle scrambles for 3. 3rd and 7 at the 28. Denigle will take off again, 12 yards to the 40. First down, Aztecs showing wheels. Denigle hits Jordan Napier short for 10 more. First down at the 50. And then a gift. NIU's Jacob Finley flagged for pass interference, 15 yards. Ball at the NIU 35. Aztecs striking distance, 5:19 left. Lucky Sutton will carry for 4. Napier will gain 3 on the left side. 3rd and 3 at the 28. Sutton grinds for 2, so close. 4th and 1 at the Aztec 26. Aztecs will go for it. Sutton powers through for the first down at the 25. Napier will jet right for 16 and first down at the 9 for the Aztecs. Knocking on the door, but a holding penalty on Seth Adams pushes him back to the 19. Christian Washington will lose 2 on the next carry. 2nd and 21. Denigle finds Jackson Ford for 6 yards. 3rd and 15 at the NIU 15. Denigle rushes for 3. As the clock hits triple zeros, Aztecs stall in the red zone. They've got the ball to start the second quarter. Denigle's 12 rushing yards, 16 passing yards on the drive keep the Aztecs alive. Holst has 28 rushing yards and 12 passing, and that helps NIU. Defenses ruled only 1 penalty each, but they did hurt respective teams. Aztecs, though, not able to cash it in with a trip into the end zone. Instead, Gabe Placencia lines up for a 30-yard field goal. It's good. Aztecs tie it 3-3, answering NIU's first quarter field goal with a 7:15 march of their own. Huskies take over at their 25 after a touchback. Josh Holst fumbles first down, but Jalen Poe recovers, gaining 3. Holst's next pass incomplete. 3rd and 12. Siobhan Wright Rushes for 8, not enough. Danny Vukovic will punt 46 yards to the Aztec 23, clock at 13:28. Aztecs ball, Jaden Denegal hits Donovan Brown for 9. Christian Washington, no gain. Next carry, 3 for a first down at the 35. Denegal scrambles for 4. Washington adds 2. Then a 4-yard pass to Jordan Napier nets a first down at the 45. But the drive will stall. Deep shot to Jacob Bostic misses. Washington gains 3, then 6. 4th and 1 at the NIU 46. Washington is stuffed by Montrell Canyon and Deshaun Dixon. Turnover on downs, 9:19 left, NIU ball. So Huskies at their 46, Wright loses 5, Holst gains 4. Then Owen Chambliss sacks Holst for a 10-yard loss. Aztecs offside gives NIU 5 yards, but Vukovic will have to punt 47 yards to the SDSU 12. Aztecs back at it, 6:47 to go. Denegal's pass broken up by Deshaun Dixon. And then Donovan Brown grabs 13 for a first down. Mikey Welsh snags 8, but a false start on Jackson Ford sets him back. Denegal will hit Welsh for 7, then miss on 3rd down. Hunter Green will punt 46 yards to the NIU 12, 3:06 left. NIU's turn, it's a false start. Then Telly Johnson Jr. stopped flat. Holst connects with Daree Rogers for 15, first down at the 22. Then SDSU's defense clamps down. Holst is sacked for a 10-yard loss. Rogers catches for 11. Wright gains 1. Vukovic will punt again, 20 yards to the SDSU 45 on something off the side of the foot. 1:23 to go. Aztecs pushes Denegal to Napier for 13. First down at the NIU 42. A pass interference call gains 15. Lucky Sutton gains 5. Denegal loses 1. Sutton adds 3. NIU burns 3 timeouts, forcing a punt. Green's 45-yarder will pin NIU back at their own 5. Holst will kneel down for a 9-yard loss, and that is your first half.
Aztecs get the ball to start the third quarter, and it starts with an odd fair catch from Jordan Napier on the 5-yard line. For some reason, he took the fair catch instead of letting the ball bounce into the end zone, but the Aztecs made quick work to move the ball. Jaden Denegal to Napier along the sideline, and he tiptoes for a 19-yard gain. But on the next play, Denegal escapes the rush, but then just throws the ball up for grabs, and it's picked by Muhammad Jama and returned to the 27. But the defense comes up big with a quick 3rd and out. Aztecs get it back. A couple of runs get the ball to the Aztecs 39, but Denegal drops back, nowhere to go, and he's sacked for a 10-yard loss. And after a timeout, in comes Bert Emanuel Jr., and we'll find out later Denegal suffered some sort of injury, but did come back in the game. And Emanuel Jr. does nothing, and the Aztecs punt. NIU gets the ball, brings in a new quarterback themselves, freshman Brady Davidson, and the Aztecs take advantage with Chris Johnson coming up with a nice interception, tiptoeing along the sideline, their own 49. Emmanuel Jr. back in for a second series, but after a Christian Washington 8-yard run, they're forced to punt again. Aztec defense comes up big, forcing a punt, but again the Aztecs offense does nothing, 3 and out. On 3rd and 3, Emmanuel Jr. has an option to hand it off or keep it. He hands it off, and Sutton gets just a yard. If he keeps it, he probably has room for a first down. Aztecs force another punt, beginning a drive at their own 20. Denegal back in, and it's the Lucky Sutton show. Gains of 6, 11, and 10. Aztecs moving. They have a 4th and 1 from the NIU 36, and Denegal, under pressure, tries a two-handed pass to receiver Seth Adams, and it's picked off. Well, the Aztecs force a punt, but on a muff by the Aztecs punter called for a face mask. The drive continues, but the Aztecs defense on 4th and 1 at their own 44. NIU tries a trick play, a handoff to the running back who pitches it back to Josh Holtz. Does not fool the Aztecs. No gain. Great play by Trey White and Krishna Clay. Aztecs take over with 4:28 remaining at their own 44, but go 3 and out and punt, playing the field position game. NIU takes over at their own 15 with 2:38 to go, but the Aztecs force a punt. They get the ball back, 1:52 to go from their own 45. Lucky Sutton put to work again. Gains of 13, 3, and 7, and that includes a face mask penalty that added 15, got the Aztecs down to the 18-yard line. And after a few back and forth timeouts, gave Plasencia in for a 25-yard field goal. He hits it, and the Aztecs win this one 6-3. Steve, it was a very happy Coach Sean Lewis after the game. He talked with San Diego Sports 760 about the win, big games from Owen Chambliss and Lucky Sutton, and the injury that briefly forced Jaden Dekalb out of the game.
Yeah, it feels great, right? It's what good teams do. They find a way on the road to score one more point than the other guys. And it's funny that you guys were just talking about it because we were just talking about it with the team, right? Like eerily similar. And this team with the connection and the culture and the perseverance, right? Like they found a way. And that's the most important thing, right? Is that you go on the road and find a way to score one more point than the other guys. And we'll clean up the tape. And now we've got to be cleaner in a lot of areas, but found a way to win, which is great to see. Yeah, I mean, he's been playing in the elite level. The past couple of weeks, I've really been trying to highlight him with the TV production crews and making sure that he gets spotlighted during the calls because he's been doing a great job. He's playing sideline to sideline. He's really comfortable and has fit in with, obviously, the schematic changes that we made. And, he's a great player that is playing confident, he's playing fast and playing physical. And, he's a game changer for us. Yeah, I got a little dinged up. Need to get him looked at and everything to make sure that he was good to go. And he's a warrior, came back, battled. PJ did a good job stepping in and kind of weathering the storm there with the sudden change. And, again, like those two guys do a great job, champion one another. And, Denny was able to come back in and finish it and find a way to move the ball down the field to set us up for the game-winning kick. Yeah, I mean, did a great job, right? Felt like we were delivering some good body blows through, the course of the game. We missed on some haymakers that could have been explosive plays and obviously opened up the scoring, and we got to refine that as we go. But the guys did a great job rallying together, and when we needed to drive, able to lean on those big boys up front, and obviously lucky being able to create some dirty yards and explosive runs to set us up. And then great job by the staff and everyone involved to, be able to get to a personnel change there that caught them, a little bit off guard, and to get a first down that way, to then be able to kneel it out and ice it and end it with a kick was a good execution by the whole staff and by the players as well.
That's it from Coach Lewis. Steve, what did Northern Illinois' coach have to say about this slugfest?
Lewis, if you caught the last episode of Aztecs All In, you'll know that I came into this game with a very positive impression of NIU's coach, Thomas Hammock. I leave with it intact. First and foremost because he talked for years about getting back to his alma mater and leading it. It is his dream job. It's not some stepping stone. And after the game, he talked with the Huskies' flagship station, WDKB 94.9, about the defensive game plan, the struggle on offense, and the difficulty of jumping too much to conclusions without taking a beat and a gimlet-eyed look at the game film. And finally on the Huskies, coach, before we begin hearing this compilation, this is an honest man you are hearing from. There's no sugarcoating or dissembling here.
It's a gut punch, right? But, we got to move on and try to respond next week. We mixed a 3 down front and a 4 down front. I thought those guys played really sound and downhill and liked the way they played. I thought guys made nice plays on the ball. They played together. And, guys were reacting to the ball in the air. We just have to play more consistent. That's a good defense. We just got to be able to make plays on the perimeter. We couldn't get our run game going. And, we got to watch the film and evaluate it and self-critique it and see if we can get better for next week. They were blitzing us, run blitzing us. And I thought it was just a tough, hard-fought battle. And we didn't make enough plays to try to win the game.
All right, so the Huskies will drop to 1-3, focus on homecoming next week with MAC play going forward. A big rivalry game with Miami of Ohio. Lewis, over to you for a closing thought or two.
Steve, my final thoughts are that this was just an ugly game all around, but it was a game this team would not have won last year. In fact, in a similar game against Central Michigan, it's a game they didn't win. I think it's safe to say the defense will have to carry the Aztecs as far as they can go this season.
So, final thoughts this. Win's a win. It wasn't pretty. But these are the types of games that good teams pull out. Aztecs finally notched a road win after being winless their last 4 outings dating back to November 1st at Boise State. It was a Friday night game. And that brings me to the next thought about the Aztecs' upcoming conference home opener next Friday night against Colorado State. I am firmly standing with former coach of the Aztecs, Rocky Long, on this Friday night football game business for college teams. It should belong to the local high schools and football. I have been to a lot of those games over the years, pitching in for the PPR on local TV, KUSI, all throughout the county of San Diego over the last, far too many to count years, Lewis. And it doesn't matter if the teams that I'm covering are good, bad, or in between. It's because the communities around all of those schools turn out. They love the kids. They love the game. So I will be very interested in learning about Friday night's turnout for the Aztecs against Colorado State. It's too bad the people in charge of scheduling more and more of these games don't really care about anything besides creating opportunities for advertising inventory. All right, speaking of which, it was the first time I can remember having to catch an Aztecs football game on a streaming app. Yeah, I've caught plenty of basketball games that way and happy to have them. Those are different, though. Plenty of Aztecs basketball games in a season, but there are only 12 football games scheduled, not counting the postseason, of course. And here's hoping that's the last time. I know, streaming is the future. That's what all the kids are doing. But then again, so is artificial intelligence. And let me get off on that tangent to say, it's too bad humanity has gotten to the point where people have to turn to their computers for that, because we all have so little of it of our own. Looking at myself in the mirror on that one, Lewis, which means it's time to say goodbye.
And that's it for this post-game edition of Aztecs All In. Thanks for giving us a listen. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And follow us on the X for late-breaking Aztecs news at Aztecs_all_in. So until next time, for Steve Perez, I'm Louis Weiner. So long.